We all know that in business, change is the only constant. But this new reality brought on by the pandemic is stretching our employees' individual capacities to manage change like never before. In this episodes of OBJ Experts Online, we explore the important issue of coping with change. Hello, I'm Michael Curran from the Ottawa Business Journal. Today, we're talking with an expert who regularly conducts training for businesses and organizations whose employees are facing change. She works with PMC Training, an Ottawa-based company with close to 40 years of experience in performance management consulting. Please welcome Kimberly Nichols. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Michael. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for joining us. Listen, this is a superbly topical issue right now. So as everybody knows, we're experiencing change on a level that we could not have imagined even a few weeks ago. Life and business have suddenly changed, I'd say both dramatically and suddenly. So if you're a business owner watching this video, you need to appreciate on some level that some of your employees are being stretched and they're struggling with change. So let's start at that level right there. Kim, why do individuals struggle with change?
I would say it's really about the uncertainty of change. What does it mean for me? How does this affect me? How does this affect my job? How does this affect my life? H.P. Lovecraft once said, "The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown." And I think that really resonates with people when they start thinking about change, because we can't predict how this is all going to unfold. And that is really scary if we don't know the end of the story and we can't plan it all out and feel like we have some semblance of control over it.
So if you're once again a business owner watching this, why should you manage? Why should you care? Excuse me, about your employees' ability to manage change?
Well, change is a huge distraction. It takes us away from our regular work. It causes undue stress. When change is implemented, sick leave goes up, and people just aren't as productive as they normally would be. So the sooner and the more efficiently people can get through change, the more quickly they can get back to work and back to performing and doing well in their jobs, and to feel more comfortable and safe and productive and happy again. So it's really about the stress and the productivity. It affects your personal and your professional life, but as far as a professional standpoint is concerned, it's really about productivity.
That's a great point. So how is it, Kim, that you help people deal with change? What are you helping to teach them and come to terms with?
Well, I'm certified in teaching the change cycle, which is a model where they have established the different layers of the brain and how the primitive brain, the mammalian brain, and the complex brain react to change. And so there are 6 stages to the change cycle, and we all go through them pretty much in the same order because of those layers of the brain. So in the early stages, we're actually responding with fear and resistance, right? It's that fight or flight response that we might have to change. And it kind of works that way. So I actually help people understand what those 6 stages of change are and how to identify which stage you're in, what questions to ask yourself or your employees, and how to work through that so that you can get past it and get back to being productive and being more comfortable and feeling like yourself again.
So, Kim, in your training, you deal with something, a concept, unmanaged change versus managed change. Explain that a little bit more for our viewers today.
So with unmanaged change, if we're not thinking about how we're getting through the stages of change, it's likely that our productivity is going to tank quite a bit, and we might start feeling a little bit better about things and making progress, and we'll go back up and be productive, and then we'll tank again, and we kind of do this yo-yoing. If you think of a line of where your acceptable level of productivity is, we would do this yo-yoing. Whereas if you manage the change, sure, it's going to tank in the beginning, but knowing what to do can help you get back above that line so that you can be more productive again. And it may not be a straight trajectory and it's not a straight shot, but you'll get up there more quickly, and you're more likely to stay above that line and make it more permanent change. So the brain actually responds multidimensionally when a change is introduced. And whether it's self-imposed or externally imposed, wanted or unwanted, The goal is not to get through the change cycle as quickly as possible, and it's not to ever like or want or accept or choose the change. It doesn't mean that you get to a point where you like that change. What we want to do is get to a point where we can accept our new reality and accept the change for what it is. So you can actually be in multiple stages of the change cycle about the change itself, because the change is multifaceted. So for example, if we think about a pandemic, I might be in a spot where initially I was struggling to work from home because my bookmarks aren't in the same place and I can't find my files as quickly, and maybe I've gotten through that and now I'm accepting that and I found a way to work around it. But as far as the economy and financial security, maybe I'm still feeling very fearful and I'm in the earlier stages still. So we can be in multiple places at the same time. And one way to manage the change is to be aware of the change and what's happening at the time. One example is my son is actually taking an online cooking class, and he was explaining to me this weekend that he's going to probably have to rearrange the kitchen a little bit, because one of the units they cover is how to set up your kitchens for a professional cooking environment. And immediately that got my back up, and my first response was, well, no, you can't change the kitchen. It works as is. Why would you do that? As if it has some big dramatic effect on me. It's really not a big deal. So I had to ask myself the questions. What's the worst that could happen here, right? Well, maybe I have to open 2 doors instead of 1 to find the measuring cups in the beginning, right? But food is magically going to appear in front of me because I get to be a taste tester. So this is a really good trade-off. And it's just being able to recognize when it's happening and to be able to ask yourself those questions and know what actions to take to be able to get back up to that productivity and get to a point where you can accept that change.
Yeah, that sounds like a great approach. So, if someone's interested in speaking and learning a little bit more about PMC training, what should they know?
That it can be done as a one-off sort of group training. So if you have 5 people or more, we can send an instructor to you, or in this case we would do it virtually for now. But it doesn't take a whole lot of people to do a group training. Or we also offer what we call a public workshop, or a workshop that's available to the general public, where you can just sit in and have one person attend the training. So yeah, I would say you can go to pmclearning.ca and look at our course offerings there, and that's a good starting point.
That's excellent, Kim. And how can people connect with you and PMC training?
pmclearning.ca would be the place to go to find us online and ask any questions, and just reach out. We do all kinds of customizations for courses, and so we can make sure that it fits your needs. So it's not an issue either way. Just send us an email and we'll get back to you.
Thanks for your time today, Kim.
Thanks so much, Michael. I appreciate you having me.